We made some changes to the van since last time. I decided that I didn't want it just to be a frame swapped pile, so I pulled that 4Runner frame out from underneath it and bought some Jeep axles. I got a Dana 30 front, Dana 44 rear. So we're gonna 4-link it and run some Jeep axles under it. They got 48 gears in them, lockers, so they're all set to go. And we just gotta make up some 4-links. So today we're gonna do the lower control arms. Got weld spatter on the lens cover. Well, that destroys my UV filter. We're gonna run just 4 links with a panhard bar or track bar, whichever way you want to call it, both front and rear. So I'm gonna drive it a lot on the street, so I want it to be safe. I want it to handle, decently for a top-heavy jelly bean. And I think the best way to do that is to run a 4-link with a panhard bar so that I don't get much side-to-side movement in the axles. So we're gonna do that. I'm using a right hand and a left hand in each arm. The left's got the line here on the adapter, and it's got lines on the jam nut, so you know that's a left-hand thread. See? The right doesn't have that. Jam nut's there. It's got no notches on it, and it's got no line there. You don't want to clamp this for a ground. Do not clamp the hind joints for a ground. It will mess up the threads inside with the electricity going through it. You don't want to do that. Make sure it's in all the way, seated good and flat. You're gonna have, right there, you're gonna have a little, you're gonna have a, what is that? Right here, you're gonna have a gap you fill in with a weld. That's what's gonna hold it, right there, that gap. The bungs are made like that so that when you weld it, you get a nice strong weld. Push it in, make sure it's flat and flush in there before you tack it. Tack it in, make sure everything looks good and everything's where you want it. Make sure everything still turns. All right, full weld. May not be pretty, but I can stick things together. I'm not using welding gas for this. I'm not using the argon mix. I'm using straight CO2. I don't weld a lot, so the CO2 I can use for other things, and it lasts longer. It's cheaper. So I just use straight CO2. There's more spatter, but it works fine, as you can see. I have a Harbor Freight welding cart that I used to use. This one. It's a nice cart if you're using it in a garage with concrete and you can just roll it around. But I had to upgrade to the off-road welding cart. That welding cart's the only way that I can roll it around out here. Working in the stones. It's the only way I can roll it around on the stones. All right, we're gonna use tabs to mount the front lower control arms to the frame. These are 3/8 thick. They have a 1/2 inch hole in them, so I have to bore the hole out to a 3/4 inch. They're already shaped for tube, so they should be plenty heavy. The lower's in. I think the pinion is about where I want it on the axle. So I just got to figure out what I'm going to do for the front, if I'm going to use the stock. You see the stock bushings on the axle? That's probably what I'm going to do, just use those and make up a track bar and just run a 4-link. I guess it'd be a 5-link, but it's 4-link with a track bar or panhard bar. Alright, it's back. I'll throw in some control arms now. The lowers are short. They're about 22 inches, but they're all on, ready to go. Well, that's it for the lowers. They're on and ready to go. So next time we'll be doing the uppers, and then hopefully we can get it sitting on some springs and get it out from the jack stands.